As you step into your implementation of Business Central, here are some things that you should bring. Firstly, prepare as an individual. Take some time set aside for you to think and prepare and ensure that you are ready to spend time and to contribute to the analysis and design sessions that are ahead of you. So some things here. Ensure you have a clear schedule. Remove distractions. For example, there's nothing worse as a finance team member that if you're doing an A&D session but you know payroll is due today and there's problems going on. Okay, so work with your implementation team to make sure that you remove distractions and that you are mentally 100% able to focus without concern over you at that time. The second thing is turn your phone off, turn your notifications off, put it on Do Not Disturb and don't be distracted. Give the respect that the process requires. It can be hard. It can be hard to disconnect and just switch off from the world. We have a property that we call Junction where clients come out to, where the phones don't actually work here. So when you come into our boardrooms and they're beautiful, communication shouldn't work and you leave your phones at the door. And that way you focus as a team, completely disconnected. The third thing here is think about the key outcomes you would like to have achieved from previous experience and frustrations. This is as an individual. What has really been really, really good? What has been really, really bad? And what are things that you've got as fears? What do you have things that you have as concerns? Think about them, okay? Structure that thought and come prepared so we can turn around and deal with those in the analysis and design. The fourth thing is think from a team perspective. What are the things that the team should be chasing for outcomes that are applicable to this project that will enhance to move them forwards, to simplify, to reduce process, to reduce error? Files that we need you to prepare, we need them in Microsoft Excel. In CSV is fine, but we need to be able to get access to this data. Please do not come with PDFs. Please do not send us a PDF. It's not going to work. We're just going to smile and say thank you and ask you to do it again. So some of the documents that we're going to need. We're going to need your chart of accounts. This includes your balance sheet and your profit and loss. All of your GL codes, we need to understand what they are, what they're for, what they're categorized as. The next, we need to know your customers, your vendors. Now, let's understand that data because a customer may have many addresses, okay, and they may have many contacts. Your vendors may have multiple addresses and contacts as well as you'll have vendor bank account details. These are all things that will be required with your new ERP. We need to understand your items in your inventory. So, with your items, if you're just a flat inventory of items or services, bring a list straight out of your accounting system. If you have bill materials and you're using assemblies or production, we will need to see and understand what does that look like. Show us what a bill of materials looks like for you in this project. We'll want you to give us 3 example end-to-end transactions. This is, for example, a sales quote, sales order. You could have the customer purchase order with that as well. We've got relevant process documents, which might be purchasing, it might be production, it might be assemblies. We want to see shipping documents, and then we want to see the end sales and purchase invoices for those particular transactions. So 3 examples. Some hints here. This is just from my experience, and I believe that it actually makes a huge difference. If you come into an A&D session with us in building, we'll actually give you a notebook. I believe keeping notes handwritten is good for the brain. It helps you with the take-up of information and retaining memory. Keep handwritten notes. It's okay to scribble. It's okay to draw. And what we encourage you to do is write as much as you can down because it will help you start to structure thoughts and ideas in a creative way that will help drive quality outcomes for your project. The second thing here is keep focus on areas which affect your operation of the system. Now, how do I explain that? Let's say, for example, you're part of a bigger group and they've dictated to you the chart of accounts. Well, let's not waste time on the chart of accounts because you're not going to change that. What you want to focus on is how your data gets to the chart of accounts. So let's keep focus on what you know is within your lens, your freedom, and let's not get too distracted by the things that we don't control. That being said, you may want to know how those things work, and that's completely acceptable, and we can work through that. Third thing here is keep a punch list. I've said this for years, and it's always benefited us with clients. Keep a punch list. What's missing? Now, it should be in the FRD. If you find something's missing, it needs to go on the punch list, and you need to write down this list of things where you're like, oh, I still don't understand how this is going to work. I don't understand how I get this data into this particular module. Write it down, keep a punch list, and keep yourself accountable to keep asking those questions until your punch list is cleared out and you have confidence that you know and you've extinguished your questions here. The last thing here is be prepared to act. These projects are not the responsibility 100% of your implementer to carry this project all on his or her shoulders. Okay, so what do we mean by that? Ensure your follow-up to actions are returned promptly. We could have a chain of events tied to you delivering something that we need. And if you don't do it, it may actually push out your project. Our team cannot work without your responses. We will turn around and draw a line and say, I'm sorry, we refuse to move forwards if we do not get your action. And the reason for this is rework is the most common cause of cost blowout on a project. You don't want to be blowing out the cost on these projects. You want to ensure that you're actually getting in, get the data right, respond, act, allow us to do it once and do it well. We do not want to be receiving data from you multiple times because you're like, oh, actually, no, let's change that. Oh, let's change this again. Let's change it again. And just ensure your follow-up actions are returned promptly. Do it once. Second thing here is make sure you upload all files to the Microsoft Teams channel. We keep your data in one place and we secure it in one place. We create a Teams channel for you. That conversation, the collaboration, meetings, events, files, recordings are all stored there for one reason. We're all on the same page. We need to keep everybody in a complex project looking at the same lens of data and ensuring that we're working to the same objectives together. And as part of that, keeping comms in that channel helps us. So if you're going to shoot an email to someone, go get the address for the Teams channel. And yes, you can do that. You can go into Teams, copy its email, and CC that on any emails that you're sending. So all communications will go back to the Teams channel. Okay? Make sure we're doing everything through or associated with that channel so everybody, all the team, including you, including us, are always up to date.